And what I'm afraid of with that is if he goes and takes things that haven't been decided in the divorce case. If I say one time law enforcement escort to go back to get personal items and clothing, shoes, and that's it, but nothing else, I guess he can get his clothing if he needs to get that. But anything beyond that, I would say no, because he could use that as an excuse to go back and get the chair or the sofa that he wasn't awarded in the divorce. You get me? So I want to be very careful in what I order. Now, if he needs to go back to get clothes and shoes and underwear and, personal hygiene items or personal clothing, I could be very limited in ordering that, but I'm apprehensive on that because, I don't want to get into the middle of this property settlement in their civil divorce case. So do you want the one-time very limited escort? Yes.
I think you're going to have to be very specific when it comes to this.
Yeah. I think what you just stated, the personal clothing, personal items, and nothing outside of that, it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he said he wasn't trying to go back to the property anyway.
Because he's afraid of being arrested, and he shouldn't. I would like to say don't go back.
Yeah.
Let it all pan out in your divorce case, and buy you some clothes at Walmart. You'll be fine. So that I don't want you to have any more incidents to have to come back down to jail or any misunderstandings. Okay. I think that's best. Let's just order a stay away from the marital home or incident location. No further contact with the victim outside of court proceedings or civil proceedings. And yes, he needs to let his attorney handle most of it so there won't be any confusion. No drugs, alcohol, guns, or weapons while on bond. And I think that'll be it.
Okay.
Okay. And that was 4,000 SOB jail.
That is correct.
Okay.
Your Honor, I have an announcement.
Yes.
I have 3 people that were not on the calendar. It's Miss Sandis Maseer, LaRon Lickman.
Where did you get them from?
They are on the pull sheet, but they're not on the calendar.
Pre-trial, you all have them on the pull sheet?
What's the name? Last name?
Sandy Maseer, LaRon Lickman, and Tyree White. These guys was not on. They're not on the calendar.
Yeah, I got them.
There were 2 Maseers. One was on and one wasn't.
Right.
Yeah.
My client.
Oh, Michael.
Yeah.
We'll be here till tomorrow, Miss McLeod. So just hang on. No.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Position number 12, Flowers.
We'll keep it moving. Okay. Whew. All right, this is 23 CR 006989D, Benjamin Flowers. It's 1 count of willful obstruction. Now, I have 13 days. Pre-trial, can you explain possibly our state? Is he total Riverside beyond, or is it something else going on with 13 days?
I'm not sure if he was booked in on the other charges that he has, but he does have that, theft by receiving, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon under the 23 CP 223036. I can look further into it.
All right, what do you have pre-trial?
Oh, I didn't look.
I will say, however, Your Honor, given the nature of the charges and the idea that he has bigger fish to fry, the recommendation was a signature bond through the pretrial services. I understand that it has to be through the jail if there is, in fact, a Riverside issue. But I think, in the interest of time, I just wanted to put the state's recommendation out there.
I appreciate it, Mr. Pierre Thomas. Thank you so much.
Yeah, he wasn't on my pool sheet, so jail is fine.
Okay. I am inclined to give him a $4,000 signature bond through the jail, stay away and no further contact. What other conditions that the state would recommend?
They're just the standard, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
Okay.
Given the nature of the charge.
All right. And just no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. Any objection, PD Kim?
Only thing is though, it was the willful obstruction against the officer. So I don't know how no further contact will be applicable. So it should be no further violent contact.
The state didn't ask for no further contact. We asked for no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
Okay.
Yeah. The only condition is the
Sure.
drugs. And I'm sorry, and I'll take off. There's no other conditions except the drugs, alcohol, and weapon.
No
All right.
problem.
So
Thank you.
$4,000 SOB jail.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Position number 22, man.
Okay. This is 23 CR 0069996G. This is Sergio Mann, charged at 1 count of driving hit and run, 2nd count failure to maintain lane, driving on expired and no registration, and failure to obey signs and control devices. I have him at 3 days. State.
Judge, in light of the Riverside, although his charge is something that the state will consider a serious charge, there's no legal way for us to get around that Riverside. However, our recommendation was for a surety bond.
Mm-hmm.
Give me one moment. I'm sorry, Judge.
Okay.
I understand it was a theft of service and leaving, and I apologize, but I have the notes from someone else, and I'm making sure I'm trying to make sure I'm not getting them mixed up with each other. As indicated with the, the seriousness with the hit and run, but
yeah,
like I said, with the Riverside issue, we would just ask that the court consider it being a $4,000 surety bond, considering the seriousness of the charges. The state will state for the record that we don't have any showing any convictions for the defendant with our required candor. However, we do believe because of the type of charge that it's safer for the community and perhaps maybe even himself if he were to remain in custody at this time, or if he was to be required to do a surety bond, Judge.
I'm not for sure legally that I can do that. But I will order with the signature bond that he not drive, because it looks like if he doesn't have a registration title, he may not have a license either.
Your Honor, he does have a valid license according to my
Yes.
conversation with him.
And so let me ask just for half a second factually, why is this hit and run? It's not a vehicular homicide. Is this hit and run so dangerous? I think we have another one on the calendar as well. Can you give me a little bit more as to factually on the hit and run?
Okay, Judge. Law enforcement on 11/9, law enforcement was dispatched to west intersection of Holcomb Bridge Road and Steeplechase Drive in reference to a hit and run. They made contact with the victim, that was Mr. Jack Hook, that was standing near his 2020 F Ford 150, and it had significant front end damage, and it was blocking the eastbound lane of the highway. While the victim was attempting to make a left turn, his light was green, so he proceeded. As he was in the intersection, the black BMW sports utility vehicle, which belonged to which the defendant was driving, failed to stop for their red light and collided with the victim. The victim continued, and it appeared that there was engine coolant pouring from the defendant's vehicle. Of course, you have someone that's failing to obey the rules of traffic. He's hit the car so badly that he's hit the victim's car to push it into another lane to where there could have been even further accidents. And then, of course, he hit it so hard that it actually caused his engine coolant to start pouring from his vehicle. So if the judge needs some further information, I can continue.
No, that's enough.
Thank you.
For me. Thank you. I'm still going to order the $4,000 signature bond through the jail. And what I will say is let me just put the condition of, I mean, does he have a long driving history or driving citations history? That would be my next question.
Not
You
that, not that I could see, Judge.
Okay, because if you told me he had, 3 other hit and runs or some DUIs and things of that nature, I would be inclined to put some conditions on his driving, even with the signature bond. But I don't have that information or that history to do it. But I will caution Mr. Mann, if you're going to be driving, I would limit you to driving to work, school, or church, or see your lawyer, something like that is what I normally do. And the rest of the time you sit at home. Or just, I think I said court to see your lawyer. So, but I don't have a long driving history with you to do that. That is my inclination, but I will not do that today and hope that you don't have any other incidences while I'm allowing you to get out on signature bond today. And I'm just going to ask you to practice safe driving and follow all the rules while you're on bond. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns. All right. That's a $4,000 SOB jail.
Position 34.
Set 1,000 on each one.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Deputy, what number?
34.
34. Okay. This is 23 CR 006999Y. And that's Adrian Sidwell, charged with 1 count of criminal trespass. Looks like I've got possibly a Riverside issue here. I'm inclined to do a signature bond. Unless I hear anything else from the state.
No, Your
Factual,
Honor.
historically.
No, Your Honor. Actually, the recommendation from the state was going to be a signature bond through the pretrial services, and given the nature of the charge, he was alleged to have been sleeping at a property. I think we have been in contact with the public defender. I think she'll speak more on that. But we would be requesting no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and no contact with that store employee, Tamika Bryant. The 2 store employees, actually, Tamika Bryant and Keelan Oliver. Keelan spelled Kelen, Oliver traditional spelling, Tamika spelled Tomeka, Bryant traditional spelling, and a stay away as well, Your Honor. The stay away from that incident location, which is circa 730 Peachtree Street, Northeast Atlanta, Georgia.
All right. And I would order a 3,000 SOB through the jail. PD Kim, any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, so $3,000 signature bond through the jail. And to stay away from that store or that incident location, and no further contact with the 2 employees, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond.
Thank you.
All right.
Go ahead, Milton. We got one of the persons you need to see. Position number 7.
7, okay.
Now, I was telling ACDC to go ahead on. She got position number 7 over there, Miss Davis.
Oh, I see. Brittany Davis. All right, this is 23 CR 006987G. Ms. Davis, you're charged with 2 counts, 1 count of criminal trespass, 2nd count of simple battery, family violence. I see a Riverside issue. I'm inclined to give a signature bond through the jail unless I hear some evidence otherwise.
Your Honor, the recommendation from the state was a signature bond through the pretrial services, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. I do believe that the juvenile is her child, so no further violent contact would be the recommendation. And I believe a stay away would be appropriate. That is the Westlake High School located at 2400 Union Road, Southwest Atlanta, Georgia, and the completion of a family violence intervention program. Very brief facts. I'll just really summarize it and sum it up. She was asked not to enter the location of that school in several different ways. She continued to enter even when the officer tried to physically, remove her from the school. She resisted, and she was also seen, I believe, grabbing and swinging her child, the juvenile initials J and D. And so that's a recommendation from the state. I don't believe we sound for the juvenile in accordance with Marcy's law.
No, how old is the juvenile?
It's a unique situation. He's actually 17, but it looks like on the 18th of this month, he makes 18.
But he's still in high school at
He's still
Westlake.
in high, yes.
All right.
I'm here, Your Honor.
You're on the Zoom call.
Yes,
JD, are you 17 years old?
yes, ma'am. I will be 18 the 18th of November.
Yeah,
No, I
hold
do
on a
not
second.
feel.
Oh. Yeah, all right, you're a minor and your mom is there. And
Yes.
so I'm not going to, even under Marcy's law, I'm not going to allow you to speak. But and I would swear you in if I did, but I do want to be very cautious. You are a minor, okay?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
so are you there alone? Do you have a father, aunt, or any other adult in the home with you?
I have a father.
Is he there?
Not at this moment. My aunt is with me.
How old is she?
27.
Okay. Can she come to the screen with you a little bit? Because I want there to be an adult with you.
Yes, ma'am. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Let's-
While we wait, Your Honor. Oh,
She right
Yes,
here.
hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second.
Hello, I'm sorry. Hello, can you hear me?
Just one moment, ma'am. Judge will be with you.
All right, I'm sorry. JD. And I think I heard
Yes, Your Honor, I'm here.
all right, I will have 2 questions for you. And where's your aunt?
She right here.
Hello,
Okay. Hi, what is your name, ma'am?
Tamber Hill.
All right, are you the sister to Miss Brittany Davis?
Yes,
Okay. And you're an adult and JD, and we're going to continue to call him JD and not give his name because he's a minor. And I will allow him to briefly answer 2 questions for me regarding the defendant. And I'm going to swear him in, but I need you as an adult to be there with him, okay?
okay.
All right, JD, raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, put your hand down. Do you want to have further contact with your mom, Brittany Davis?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
And are you in fear of your mom, Brittany Davis?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, those are my 2 questions. And as I stated earlier to the state, I'm inclined to give a signature bond through the jail. And I'm going to order no further violent contact with JD. And I will order a stay away from Westlake High School. I'm apprehensive. He is a senior.
Yeah, Your Honor, if I can maybe respond to that. She actually has
Yes.
another child that goes there as well, and so we would object to that. She is a single mother. I know she does have it looks like some help right now, but she is a single mother. For the most part, she actually has 5 children, Your Honor, and so we
Okay.
would actually object to the stay away as well as the FFIP course that the state also recommended, Your Honor.
Yeah, I'm not going to order the FFIB at this point. I usually wait for that later when there's more factual evidence there. Sometimes I order an anger management course if we were going through pretrial, but it sounds like she has her hands full. I don't want to burden her at this point with reporting to pretrial and things of that nature. Want her to focus on her children and having positive relationships with her children. So if they need counseling, I do recommend that, and dealing with your son, JD, going to some counseling or getting some counseling recommendations from the counselor at the school. I will allow you to go to that school as long as you have no further violent contact with your children, any of your children in the school, especially JD and any others, no further violent contact with the employees or staff at Westlake High School. If you go back there and you have an incident going on, you're going to be back in jail. If you think it's going to get out of hand, stay home and wait and get some help and some counseling with your children. Okay, Ms. Davis? All right, but I'll put on this a $3,000 signature bond through the jail, and no further violent contact with the victim, the minor JD, as well as no further violent contact with the staff and employees of Westlake High School. And to go back as limited time as possible, but in order to see about your children, but just make sure there's no more incidents. Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right.
That bond down, Your Honor.
I'm sorry.
It's 2 charges.
Oh, it's 2. All right, 1,500 on each.
Thank you.
And Your Honor, if I could say, I think all of my cases were front loaded. So I do believe that concludes my business with the court. Unfortunately, may I be excused?
No, you cannot.
Make him stay.
You cannot go and leave us here. Not today. All right. All right. Have a good
You
weekend.
too.
All right.
The next case is Miss Ariana Johnson over there, ACDC, position number 19.
Okay. All right. This is 23 CR 006994A. Is it Amariana Johnson, charged with 1 count of theft of services? And I see I've got a potential Riverside issue. I was inclined to give a signature bond through the jail, unless I hear some other facts that make me think otherwise. State.
Judge, this was a situation where
Your camera's not on.
I apologize, Judge, if I can hit this, but there we go. Thank you,
Okay.
Judge. Yeah. This
Okay.
situation where the law enforcement were dispatched to the I guess Cayenne House restaurants in reference to 2 subjects ordering their food and leaving without paying. I believe we may have handled the co-defendants earlier, but the co-defendant that was with her was Mr. Darius Beer Montgomery.
We
I
Mhm.
did
think he was
handle
on number
him.
3. So
Right.
I'm not sure what the judge did on that particular case, but the state would have no objection if the court goes ahead and places her in the same situation, Judge.
Okay. So that one was a 4,000 SOB jail, but I think he had 3. He had 3 charges. She only has
He
1.
did, Your Honor.
So I would state that I'm going to order a $2,000 SOB jail, and to stay away from that restaurant. And I think that's it. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. Is there a request for any no further contact with the employees or just a stay away? I think I only did a stay away in that other case.
Just to stay away, Judge.
Okay. All right. So that's what we will do, Ms. Johnson. $2,000 signature bond through the jail. Please stay away from that restaurant or any others, or always pay for your services. All right.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Thank you.
Position 36, Thomas.
Okay. This is 23 CR 007027E, Glory Thomas, charged at 1 count of simple battery family violence pretrial.
First arrest, SOB jail was the recommendation.
All right. State.
Judge, the state also is fine with that recommendation. That's what we were going to recommend, seeing as how this is the defendant's first arrest.
Okay. All right. And I would order a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. And then the PDs can tell me what you have. And I don't know, is there a victim in this case with no further contact?
Yes, Judge, I was just going to ask if we could sound for the victim on that case.
Mm-hmm.
And it is Brian or Bryan Monroe.
Okay.
If you are on, if we could sound for that victim in accordance with Murphy's Law, Judge.
All
Yes,
right.
I'm
Oh, Brian Monroe.
yes, I'm here.
That's a female.
Yes.
Okay. And do you wish to make a statement to the court?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna put you under. I need to see your face. I can only see the roof or the ceiling. Okay. All right, raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, Your Honor.
And all right, your name is Brian, Bryan
Yes.
Monroe, correct?
Yes, correct.
All right, you can put your hand down. Are you in fear of Glory Thomas?
No, Your Honor.
Do you want to have any further contact with Glory Thomas?
Yes.
All right. And you all, what's the relationship there?
That's my girlfriend.
Okay. All right. Do you all live together?
Yes, we do.
Okay. PD Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is only 25 years old, and Your Honor, she is gainfully employed at MNC Bank. She is involved in banking. She graduated from high school, and she has some college education, Your Honor. This happened on November 8, 2023. So she was arrested at the incident location, which was probably shopping place, Walmart, and then she was arrested at East Point Jail for the same charge, and she is transferred to Fulton County yesterday. So this is a Riverside issue as well. So I don't think that there should be any restrictions, and we would like to request for no further violent contact. And it happened more than 3 or 4 days ago. There has been ample time to cool off, and there was not even actually any physical contact. My client denies the allegation. They also live with a mother, so 3 of them live together, and it shouldn't be any problem.
Okay. All right. I will order the $3,000 signature bond through the jail. I'm going to order no further violent contact with the victim. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond.
Thank you.
All right.
Come on, Florence. Number 11, Florence.
How much was that?
3,000 SOB jail.
You say 11 is next?
Yes.
Yes.
11.
This 23 CR 007015G, Deja Florence, charged with 1 count of battery family violence. Pretrial.
First arrest, level 1.
Okay. State.
Apologize, Your Honor. Sorry, I couldn't get my camera on there for a second. My computer froze. 1 second.
All right. No worries.
Okay, so brief facts. Officers responded to a call regarding a physical dispute that is at 452 McAfee Street, Northwest in Atlanta. The officer spoke to a Mr. Darren Anthony Florence. The defendant is his daughter. He stated that she became aggressive with him, resulting in a physical altercation because he was trying to get into, it's either the bedroom or the bathroom area where she was, for him to take care of a medical emergency with his dad. The state is looking for a signature bond through the jail, Your Honor. Stay away from the dad's address, 452 McAfee Street, Northwest. No further contact with Darren Anthony Florence, 1 day anger awareness, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And we can sound for the victim if he's on.
All right, Mr. Darian Florence. Darian Florence. He's not on pretrial. I'm sorry, PD. William.
Thank you, Your Honor. So we don't object to the signature bond, Your Honor, through the jail. We would ask, though, for no further violent contact with Mr. Darian Florence. I would like to add that the report does actually mention that Mr. Florence didn't actually want to press charges. He just wanted to make a report with the police with these charges. And so we would just ask for no further violent contact, but we don't object to the signature bond.
So does she live there or not?
She does not live there, Your Honor. She stays at another address with her mother.
And so is she providing care for him, or is that why she wants to have no further violent contact to go around her father?
I mean, it is her father, Your Honor. And so, again, I would just like to make mention that Mr. Florence didn't actually want to press charges. He just wanted to make a report with the police. But yeah, it is her father. And so we would ask for no further violent contact. But she does not stay with her father. She stays with her mother at a different location. She does have some college education, Your Honor. She's attended Georgia Southern. She's currently looking for employment. She's not employed at the moment, but she is actively looking. And so, yeah, we just ask no further violent contact with Mr. Florence.
Okay. I generally don't do it when I haven't heard from the victim, because I want to make sure that the victim will be okay and there's been some cooling off. I do see that this happened back in September and we're now in November. So I assume that they've had time to think of this, and she was arrested 2 days ago. All right. So I will order a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. I'm going to order no further violent contact with Mr. Florence. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, guns, or weapons while on bond. And that will be it.
If I can just say, make one more announcement, Your Honor. Ms. Florence will qualify for the services of the public defender. In fact, her attorney going forward will be Daryl Coleman. And her case is, I think, assigned to Judge Mather.
Okay. Yeah. All right, that is fine. I will not order the stay away since I'm doing no further violent contact.
Position 26.
6. Okay.
Yes, 26.
Oh, 26. I'm sorry. This is 23 CR 007029C. Kimberly, is it, I don't know how to pronounce the last name, Missouri or Missouri? Charged with 1 count of simple battery, family violence. And is this one of the cases that we had a add-on case as well?
It's the other. It's 2 of them on here. She got one, and it's another person named Sandy.
Okay.
All right, second arrest, 2021 DUI out of Rochester, New York. She was recommended, level 1.
Okay. And what's the second case? Because I have not been able to print off the add-on sheet that I did not see.
Oh, it's not a second case, it's another person with the name.
Another.
Yes, it's
That's
Sandy.
my client.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. I
We don't have
misunderstood.
that sheet yet. We don't have that calendar yet.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, State.
Yes, Judge, in reference to excuse me, in reference to this particular case, Judge, this defendant does have, it appears, just this one cycle on their criminal history, and it does not involve the type of situation that this case involves. I just want to check one last thing. Okay, just for brief facts, Judge, there was a dispute between Kimberly and Sandy. They're married, and I believe that's where the other case that we don't quite have yet. Miss Kimberly stated that they had been fighting. It resulted in one of their fingernails being broken and a bump to one of their lips. We would not have any objection to, since it's the first offense and it's a simple battery, we have no objection to a signature bond, Judge.
Okay. All right. And Ms. McLeod,
Yes, Your Honor.
you want to give a brief statement or not?
Your Honor, my client tells me that she would like to have no further violent contact with her spouse, Your Honor. They live together.
And we didn't, well, okay. Let me ask this. She's how old and she's working?
My client or
your client? I'm sorry, the defendant, yes.
Kimberly is my client, Your Honor. And
I'm sorry, wrong one.
No problem, Your Honor. And Sandy is actually
39.
Client. Yeah.
Okay.
So my client is 38 years old, Your Honor. And she does not have any other place to go. Both name is on the list, and she wants to have a no further violent contact as well.
All right. I will order a $3,000 signature bond through the jail for Miss Missouri. I'm pronouncing that correct. I apologize if I'm not. I'm going to order no further violent contact with the victim, Sandy. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I guess that's it for now. Anything else, counsel?
Not from the state, Judge.
Not from the defense either.
Okay.
Number 14, Gray.
This is 23 CR 007017H. Jonathan Gray, charged with 1 count of battery, family violence, 2nd count of willful obstruction, law enforcement officer, pretrial.
17 adult arrests. Last arrest was 2018 reckless conduct. That was a conviction out of state court. 2018 probation for some driving. 2014 probation. I don't think I saw any violence. Hold on. Yeah, he had a 2013 battery, terroristic threats. The battery was dismissed. The simple battery was a conviction. Terroristic threats was dismissed. 2012 probation, and the rest look like weed and theft. That's it.
Okay, State.
Thank you, Your Honor. So on the battery, defendant struck his sister, Miss Keyshawn Gray, in the face with a closed fist, causing swelling to her face after she didn't want him to enter her residence. And on the willful obstruction, he continuously resisted arrest when officers arrived and tried to place handcuffs on him. The state is looking for a $2,000 surety bond, a stay away from the location. That's 616 Parkway Drive in ATL. A no further contact with the victim, a Miss Keyshawn Gray, family violence intervention program, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Okay. PD St. Clair.
Yes, Judge. Mr. Gray is currently working at Johnny's Chicken and Waffles. He does have 2 children, a 2-year-old and an 8-year-old. He is a gunshot patient. So we do believe that he does have some physical and medical issues with his kidney that doesn't make him that makes him not good to be at the jail because of the medicine that he takes. We are asking for a signature bond in lieu of a signature bond. Your Honor, he has lived in Georgia his whole life and does have ties to the community. But if the court is not inclined to give a signature bond, we would ask for $1,000 surety bond.
All right. I'm going to order the $1,000 surety bond. And with that $1,000 surety bond, I'm going to order that stay away from 616 Parkway Drive in Atlanta. No further contact with his sister, Keyshawn Gray.
That's
There
500
are 2 charges
Yes. 500 each.
on each. Okay.
And no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. I think that'll be it.
Next is 24, Matthews.
This is 23 CR 007021C, Thomas Matthews. And you're charged with 4 charges: driving hit and run, 2 counts, failure to maintain insurance, and driving while license suspended or revoked. Pre-trial.
6 total. I got a 2016 out of New York, driving while intoxicated, driving while ability impaired by the consumption of alcohol. That's how they word it. That's a conviction. As far as Georgia, last arrest was he got an FTA out of Marietta, so he got a hold for that. 2023 January, suspended license, suspended registration, making false statement pertaining to vehicle insurance. 2022 DUI, another 2022 arrest for DUI, suspended license. So he got the open case. He might have already went to Marietta. Hold on. Yeah, I don't see nothing on Marietta.
He said that he's already gone to Marietta.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. Okay.
Okay. All right. State. That was ASG Dunlap.
Yes, sorry, Your Honor, my computer has been doing weird things lately. So regarding Mr. Matthews, so on October 18th, there's 2 victims in this case. First victim, Hannah Ward, she was stopped at a red light in an intersection of North Avenue and Techwood Drive. The defendant struck her from behind. He was operating his gray 2014 Tesla. Upon striking her car, the defendant then reversed into the vehicle behind him, and that victim is Jin Shin. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. He struck the second victim's vehicle in the front end and then fled the scene onto Centennial Olympic Drive. The accident was captured on a CCTV camera along with the defendant's license plate. It looks like it was left at the scene. Upon checking, his registration was expired, no insurance. His license is also suspended. The state is looking for a $10,000 surety bond. That's $4,000 on each hit and run and $1,000 on each remaining charge. No drugs, alcohols, or weapons. We're asking that, I guess, no further driving. His license is suspended. Like I said, he doesn't maintain insurance or a registration on the car he was driving if he's still in possession of that. So.
All right. GD St. Flux?
Yes, Your Honor, we would ask for a no driving without valid driver's license condition according with DDS, so that whenever he is eligible to get his license, he may do that. Additionally, Your Honor, he has been living in Georgia since 2017. He is working at the Bonton Restaurant in Midtown. He was supposed to be at work during the time he's been incarcerated, so he does hope that he still has his job. He has three children, I'm sorry. One is 21, 16, and one is 7 that he does support with his job. We are asking a $10,000 bond based on his income that we spoke to him about is equal to no bond for him because he would not be able to afford to bond out to that. We are asking for a signature bond based on his financial circumstances, but if the court is not inclined to give a signature bond, we would ask for no more than $500 for each charge.
All right. Given his history, he seems to have some issues that he needs to address here. So I'm going to order the $10,000 surety bond. It's going to be $4,000 on the 2 hit and runs, $4,000 each, and then $1,000 on the other 2 charges. Looks like his license suspended or revoked. So I'm going to say no further driving while he's on bond, unless he needs to seek medical attention or to go see his attorney. And that's only if he has a valid license. But even if he did, I'd probably order him not to drive anyway, because I don't see how he'll get one back while he's on bond for these charges and given his history. But let's just say no further driving unless he is seeking medical assistance or seeing his attorney or going to court. If he needs to go to work, if he has a job, you just need to Uber there, Lyft, or ride the bus or something, get rides. I don't even want him driving to work because it looks like he's going to end up killing somebody. I don't want him to drive to work. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And with the victims, I don't know if you want to say no contact. I don't know that he will. I didn't hear a request for that.
He didn't request it because it was a hit and run and he doesn't have insurance for them to even go through, but we can put no further contact with Hannah Ward and Chin on the record, Your Honor.
Yes, I'd just like to add no further contact with those 2 victims. But if he would be so lucky to get his license back as well as insurance, he's going to be limited in his driving only for medical assistance to attorney in court if he gets a license back. And that's it.
Number 27, Nelson.
Who?
Nelson,
Oh,
number
no.
27.
'23 CR 007008F. Terrell Nelson, charged with 1 count of simple battery, family violence, pretrial.
First arrest, jail was the recommendation.
Okay. State.
I'm sorry, that was so quick. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what pretrial said.
I think he said first arrest and recommended jail.
Correct.
Thank you, Judge. That is correct. I don't have any additional arrest or record for this particular defendant. In this particular case, on November 10th, the defendant, the officer did respond to 8060 Adair Lane, Sandy Springs, in reference to a domestic dispute. There was an argument over marital or relationship issues, and the defendant then grabbed the victim, Miss Egypt Smith Miller, and she stated that he strangled her against the wall during the argument. Even though he doesn't have a record, due to the allegation of him strangling the victim in this case, we would ask for a $4,000 surety bond. There was additionally, there was a neighbor that witnessed the incident, Miss Melendez. She stated that she witnessed the incident and saw that the victim was being strangled by Mr. Nelson. We would like to go ahead and call for Miss Egypt Smith Miller, just in case she's on the Zoom in compliance with Marcy's law.
All right, is Miss Egypt Smith, gave another name, I think, the victim in this case on the line? All right, go ahead, PD Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Nelson is 30 years old. Even though he was born in New York, he almost lived here almost all his life. Your Honor, he is planning to move out from that location, even though they live together. He just needs one-time law enforcement escorted visit to retrieve his personal belongings. He does not want to have any relationship with her anymore, so they totally broke up. So we have no objection to stay away and no further contact with alleged victim, Your Honor. My client has two minor children, 16 and 11 years old, and he is working at home remotely, doing some trading work, and he graduated from high school. He's not going to be qualified for public defender services, so my representation will be limited to just the bond purpose only, Your Honor. He has severe disability in his ankle and hip area, so he does need continuous medical attention outside of the jail. So we would like to recommend for signature on bond through jail, just as he was recommended. Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to order a $5,000 signature bond through the jail. I'm going to order no further contact with the victim. I'm going to order stay away from the incident location. I will order a one-time law enforcement escort for him to return to retrieve his personal items. And no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I think that's it for now.
Yes. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, you're welcome.
Next, we have position 13, Miss Gordon.
This is 23 CR 007016F, Talia Gordon. One count of simple battery, family violence, a second count of criminal trespass, pretrial.
Second arrest, 2021 theft of property out of Texas. Level 1 was a recommendation.
Okay. State.
Thank you, Your Honor. So officers responded to a call on the 9th of November regarding a demented person at 110 Donamere Court in Johns Creek. They spoke to the reporting person, that's a Miss Catherine Pigelow. I apologize, I'm mispronouncing that. She had served her roommate, who was defended, a 60-day eviction notice. The defendant began screaming and yelling that she was going to end her life and make suicide threats. Ms. Pigelow could hear the defendant screaming through the walls and pounding through the walls. She ended up punching a hole through the bedroom wall. She then went into the basement and confronted her ex-boyfriend, and that's a Mr. Aaron Boyer, who looks like he's a roommate as well. And then she punched him with a closed hit him in the chest with a closed fist and began screaming at him. The state is asking for a $2,000 surety bond, a stay away from the location, 110 Donamere Court, Johns Creek, no further contact with the roommates remaining in the apartment. That is, I believe the owner of the house is Catherine Pegalo, Aaron Boyer, the victim, and then a Rachel Hoon is also a roommate. Anger management course, and then no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
All right.
Yes, Your Honor. It's my understanding that Miss Gordon moved into that location with the other people and the alleged victim in the case. So we are asking for a one-time escort that she be allowed to go get her things. She said her dog is also at the location. Since she doesn't have any prior violent charges, she doesn't have any additional income because she is not employed right now. We are asking for a signature bond through the jail. The allegation is that there was a punch in the chest, but there was no mention of any injury or any visible injury from what we've read in the report. So we would just ask for a signature bond. She just completed the 12th grade and is looking to start employment and other things. But right now, she just said it's just been a slow process for her getting work.
All right. I will order a $3,000 signature bond through the jail, $2,000 on the battery, $1,000 on the criminal trespass. And I'm going to order a stay away from 110 Donamere Court in Johns Creek. No further contact with the 2 or 3 victims, how many ever victims there are in this case. But I will allow a one-time law enforcement escort for Ms. Gordon to go back to the property, and make sure you schedule it and arrange it with law enforcement. Do not go back without them, or else you will be arrested again. And I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I think that'll be it for now.
Next, we have position 20, Miss Yasmin Johnson.
Okay. This is 23 CR 007018G. Yasmin Johnson charged 1 count of discharging a firearm on property of another and reckless conduct. Pre-trial.
Let's see. I think she having his first arrest. She's 18. She gonna need a cosigner.
Okay. All right, state.
Your Honor, so it looks like on November 10th, a defendant without any legal justification pointed a firearm towards the sky and let off a shot. It happened near, it looks like her home address, which is 5608 Baffin Road, College Park. It's unclear exactly whose property she was on, but it says she was owned and possessed by another person. And she obviously endangered the bodily safety of other people. The state is looking for a $10,000 surety bond, just based on it being a gun case, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. We were asking for a stay away, but it was unclear whether that is her permanent address, that the 5608 Baffin Road, College Road. If it isn't, then we're asking for a stay away, and we're asking for a surrender all firearms to the Fulton County Sheriff's Office.
All right.
Your Honor, that is her godmother's address. So we would ask that the stay away is not ordered. It's an address that she goes back and forth to, and she stays with her godparents. Additionally, Your Honor, we do understand that it is a firearm charge, but additionally, she is very young, and this is her first arrest. And so we are asking the court for a signature bond in her case. But if the court is not inclined to give a signature bond, we're asking for no more than $1,000 surety bond. Her parents, just from my understanding, just would not be able to afford to bond her out at the $10,000 bond. That's been her bond for the last few days, and they have not been able to afford to bond her out on that. She is in the process of getting her GED, and like I said, her parents as well as her godparents live in Georgia, so she does have ties to the community. She was going through some personal health issues that, you know, I won't state out to the court, but we do believe that this is something that we will not have to worry about allegedly happening for Mrs. Johnson. So we would ask that she gets the opportunity to get out and to go back home.
She's not working,
No, Your Honor.
not in high school.
She is in a GED program.
Okay. And she's 17 or just turned 18?
I believe she's 18 now.
And she discharged the firearm in the air or at someone?
In the air, Your Honor.
All right. I'm going to order $8,000 signature bond through pretrial and level 1. And that will be $7,000 on the firearm, $1,000 on the reckless. I'm going to order that she have no further violent contact. Well, no, they were not victims, correct?
No, Your Honor.
Sorry, I just thought of it as I was saying it. I'm going to order if she has that weapon or any other weapons that she surrender them immediately upon her release to the sheriff's department within 24 hours. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I'm going to order her to finish that GED program. She's going to have a hard time getting a job with no education. So she must complete that GED program, pass the test, and get her GED as soon as possible. I would order curfew since she doesn't have a job and she's got to be in the house studying for her GED. Let me order curfew. And that curfew time will be from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. That she should be in the house somewhere, one of the houses, either at her mom's house or her godmother's house while she's on bond. And who's going to be her co-signer?
Miss Johnson, is it going to be your mom or your godmom? I need to know.
My mom.
Okay.
What's her name?
Shonda.
Spell that.
It's Honda.
Shonda. What's her last name?
Henry.
I'm sorry?
Henry.
Oh, Henry?
Yeah.
Okay. And your attorney will let you know that she needs to bring her proper ID with her when she comes to bond you out.
Okay.
Or sign you out, should I say, not bond you out, because you have a signature bond.
Judge, I would like to add one last thing. She does not have a vehicle. I would ask if she's allowed to phone report in.
Okay. I will order that she can phone in to pretrial. Okay. All right. I'm sorry.
I said nothing further.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. That'll conclude this case.
Number 37, Williams.
Before we proceed, another add-on calendar has just been sent.
We can't receive emails, tell them.
Just to keep the excitement going.
I know. Thank you so much.
Uh-huh.
Will this be Sandy Marcia? Because she wasn't added on the other calendar.
Is that why they sent us another one?
We have Littman added. We also have the Ross case added and the Tyree White case added.
We need a Sandy Marcia added.
Okay, well then look forward to receiving that shortly.
Is that Tyrese White or Tyrese Durham?
I have it as Tyree White.
Tyree. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Next is 37 Williams.
Okay. This is 23 CR 007028Y. This is Kingston Williams. Charged at 1 count of terroristic threats and acts, 2nd count of harassing communications. Pre-trial?
One moment.
Okay.
All right. Level 1, first arrest.
Okay. State?
Yes, Judge. I have the same thing. I don't have any additional arrests or anything like that for this particular defendant. In this particular case, I want to make sure I don't misstate the facts. So if the court will just give me 1 second, because although this defendant does not have a history, the threats that were made were of a serious and disturbing nature. Specifically on Facebook, on the 15th of September, the accused did contact the victim repeatedly on Facebook Messenger. And on one of the messengers, the defendant indicated that he would come and harm her. On the other message, it indicated that he would send someone to her house to rape her and to burn her. We are very concerned with those allegations. We believe those are very serious allegations. So of course the state will be asking for a $5,000 surety bond. And we will also sound for the victim in this case, Miss Alacia Williams.
All right, is Miss Alacia Williams on the Zoom call? Alacia Williams? All right. I have PD Kim.
Yes, Your Honor, I am actually. I spoke with him and I try to reach his mother because my client does not even know this person, Your Honor, Alacia Williams. In person, they had no interaction. When he was traveling to Pennsylvania, Colorado, he met Mr. Jake for about 2 weeks. They had to work together for the construction project. And he believes that maybe Jake was the one who was, texting out with his phone. My client denies the allegation. He says that he did not text out anything. And I believe that he knows the father of Alacia Williams, who is Devarius Williams, and that is actually a boyfriend of his mother. So they were, I know they were having some issues, but it has nothing to do with my client. He denies the allegation. He's 21 years old and he's working very hard as a security company. He's been working there for about 5 months after that construction job. And he studied up to 11th grade in high school. He's still working for GED, and he also wants to have a motorcycle license. Your Honor, he does not have any child of his. However, he is taking care of 3 years old niece because that niece's father is incarcerated and niece's mother has no employment. She lost a job. So my client has been paying for their supporting them financially. So we would like to request for a signature on bond. This is his first offense as an adult, and he did not do anything at all. Thank you.
Judge, if I may, there is an indication in the warrant that similar messages had been sent from the defendant to the victim's father, of the name of which defense counsel just mentioned. And it sounded like defense counsel said that there was maybe an issue between defense and the victim's, in this case, father. And of course,
he knows of him.
Okay.
Because they are dating with his mother, but that has nothing to do with my client texting to him.
Okay, the state's position is it's not like there's no connection at all. Apparently, there's a connection between the victim, the defendant, and even the victim's father. And it's alleged that there's been some messages, but it doesn't say what kind of messages sent to the father. For there to be involvement with the victim's father, at minimum, some type of contact, it seems to the state kind of odd that someone else would just pick up the defendant's phone and start texting, especially these days where you need face recognition and you also, or you need a password, and how usually people have their phones attached to them at all times. At any rate, the state would still ask that the court do a $5,000 surety bond, Judge.
Please consider that he is only 21 years old and he is still trying to finish up his GED, Your Honor, and he had no other criminal histories, and this is mere allegation, Your Honor. He is presumed to be innocent.
And I guess I am very concerned about it. It's pretty serious. And we want to try to make sure that our victim is, that the victim is safe, and she obviously feels safe. In whatever's going on with various parties and things of that nature, and you don't take these threats very lightly.
My client resides with his father, and they don't have to have any contact. We have no objection to stay away and no further contact with her.
And I'm a little concerned, even though it is his first arrest, or first adult arrest, possibly. I will, I'm going to give a $6,000 signature bond through pretrial. That'll be $4,000 on the terroristic threats, $2,000 on the harassing communications. And with this signature bond, it's going to be no further contact with the victim. There's going to be a requirement to finish and get his GED. No guns, alcohol, drugs, or weapons while on bond. And I think that is it. Anything else, counsel?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Nothing for the state, Judge.
All right.
Position 4, Butler.
This is 23 CR 00701-3A. Jaheim Butler, charged with 1 count of battery family violence. For job.
First arrest, level 1.
Okay. Date.
Brief facts, Your Honor. Officers responded to 1295 Donnelly Avenue Southwest regarding a domestic dispute. They spoke to a victim, Mr. Landon Steele, who appears to be the roommate of the defendant. They've been roommates for about 2 months. Officers had already been at the residence earlier, dealing with an eviction dispute. As Mr. Steele attempted to remove his TV from the common area, the defendant made contact with the TV, and the TV struck Mr. Steele in the lips, leaving a cut. When Mr. Steele went outside to call the police, the defendant followed him, continued to antagonize him. They both exchanged words, and then a physical altercation occurred. It looks like the defendant suffered some scratches to the knee and a swollen ankle. He bit the defendant in his lower leg, and it looks like it's a very visible mark on his leg. The state is looking for a signature bond through the jail, Your Honor. Stay away from the address, the 1295 Donnelly Avenue. No further contact with the victim, Mr. Landon Steele. 1 day anger awareness, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapon.
Okay. PD Podium.
And thank you, Your Honor. We have no objections to the signature on bond through the jail, Your Honor. We would object to the stay away. That is actually Mr. Butler's address. The eviction was for the roommate. From my understanding, the roommate has since moved out of that residence, Your Honor. And so the apartment actually is Mr. Butler's apartment. But again, we have no objections to the signature on bond through the jail. Just a little background, Mr. Butler is a proud man of Morehouse, and he's majoring in accounting. He's been here for about 2 years. He also has a part-time job at AutoZone. He has no criminal record, as pretrial stated as well. Again, it's, from the report, it sounds like there is more. He also sustained some injuries as well. And so we maintain our innocence at this particular time, but we have no objections to the pretrial on bond.
Okay.
Yeah, signature bond.
All right. All right, I will order that $3,000 short signature bond rather through the jail. With that signature bond, I will order no further violent contact or no further, no further contact. I'm not sure what you want with this victim. And maybe I'm sorry?
We have no objections to no further violent contact or further contact, Your Honor. So,
well, let's say no further contact with the victim. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I won't order the stay away. And I guess that's it. 3,000 SOB jail.
Add on position number 1, Mr. Littman.
Yeah, that's the one I don't have, Miss Bridgewater.
That calendar just came out.
Oh, I just have Ross.
Yeah, it's a new one that had more on it. Okay, add-on number 1, LaRon or Laren Littman. Case number 23CR007019A, simple battery.
Retrial? Oh, I guess you don't have any, or do you?
I counted about 55 total. Hold on. I got an 06 simple battery conviction. 2012 shoplifting, possession of tools, obstruction. 2 counts of obstruction, giving false name conviction. 2016 disorderly conduct conviction. 2017 probation violation. What else? 2023 probation violation. That was back in January. 2023, you got an FTA too out of Fulton County. So you should have a bench warrant somewhere. That's all.
Okay. State.
Thank you, Your Honor. So this incident occurred at 901 Rice Street, Fulton County Jail. The deputies in jail responded to a fight that occurred in the 2nd North Tower, Zone 600. The fight was regarding a new housing assignment. Based on the security cameras, the defendant and several other inmates pushed a Mr. Muhammad Geyer into a cell and began violently striking him with closed fists and kicks to his body. It was unclear if defendant is already in jail on a different charge, but the state was looking for a $3,000 surety bond. We know he's already there. This incident happened in the jail. No further contact with the victim, Muhammad Gayer, that's Gueye. I guess anger awareness, if that was possible one day, and then no drugs, alcohol, weapons.
All right. Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 42 years old. He tells me that 43 years old, I'm sorry. And he has 3 children as well as a grandchild that he takes care of. They live with him. He's also married. He tells me that he was arrested on a traffic-related matter. I think it was an FTA, Your Honor. He had a bond which his wife just managed to help him to post his bond, and he was waiting to be released when this incident allegedly happened. He denies that he attacked the other inmate, Your Honor, and tells me that it was actually the other inmate who attacked him. He also tells me that his family has no more money for bond. So I would ask the court to give him a signature bond so he can get out of jail and get back home to his wife, his 3 children, and his grandson. And it seems, Your Honor, that he has been arrested since sometime in October. He was taken, he said, from DeKalb County and taken to Fulton County, and he's been in there for some time, Your Honor. So he just isn't in a position to post bond, and I think a signature bond would be appropriate in this case. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. I'm going to order a $4,000 signature bond through the jail.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And I would like to say stay away from Rice Street, honestly.
I think I would be happy to do that, Your
You'd be
Honor.
happy to do that. And obviously no further contact with the victim. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And that will be it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Number 33, Sanchez.
Okay.
Your Honor, there were 5 co-defendants, and we don't have any other conflict attorneys to represent other 4 inmates, Your Honor. So I just wanted to let you know that.
This is one of them?
Yes, Your Honor.
So Mr. Sanchez has no representation?
I don't believe he has one. And Your Honor, actually the alleged victim was also arrested on November 9, which was only 2 days ago, but he was not on the calendar nor pull sheet today. So I was wondering what was happening to him.
I like Mondays.
All right, Mr. Sanchez. Yeah, I think we need to reset him till Monday so we can get some representation.
Your Honor, another co-defendant in this case is Mr. Mason, Octavius Mason. Same case, if he's there.
Is he on this calendar?
He should
Yes,
be.
it's several of them.
Yeah.
Total 5 of them, Your Honor.
So 2023 is a co-defendant?
That is Mason. I'm trying to go back to
Now,
Miss
position
Mason.
number 8.
Position number 8 is the medical reset.
Okay, great. Write that down.
Yeah, position number 8, John Davis is part of this as well. No, I'm sorry. Position number 28, Oliver.
Is position 8 or medical reset too?
Nope.
Okay. He is also one of the co-defendants though, Your Honor. And
Right.
I represent him.
Position number 28 is the other person as well.
Okay.
So 8 is involved and is a medical reset. Am I clear?
So we have position number 8.
Position I was referring to is 23.
Okay, so let me be clear. 8 is or is not involved, and I apologize because I wasn't hearing well. 8 is a co-defendant. Yes.
It is a co-defendant, Your Honor,
Yes,
and I
yes.
represent the co-defendant.
Okay.
So
And
is
then
anybody reset medical?
Number
Right.
23, Mason, is a medical reset.
23. Okay.
23. Okay. And 23 is involved or no?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
So have I heard any of the co-defendants cases
So-
now?
Judge, I'm sorry. Also, number 30 is a co-defendant.
And have I heard any of the co-defendants yet? No.
Just the one that you just finished, Judge, with counsel Dunlap.
Add-on 1 is what is a co-defendant.
Lippman was a co-defendant, Your Honor.
We just heard that one.
Oh, so this is all with the fight at the jail.
Yes.
And
Okay.
position number 30, Robinson, he's gonna be Wade.
Okay.
And what did you say about position number 28?
Nothing.
I thought I heard Francois say something about 28. Is one of the defendants.
My name Officer Blunt.
Oh, I'm sorry, Deputy Blunt.
I thought there was an indication that number 28 was a medical reset.
No, ma'am, he's here.
Oh, okay.
So who are we on now?
Number 33, Sanchez.
33. Thank you.
And
30.
conflict number 4. Conflict number 4.
All right. So 33 doesn't have a conflict defender.
No.
That's correct. And he's also stated that he wants to go pro se.
He wants to go forward to represent himself.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Sanchez, 23 CR 0070225C. Jesus Sanchez, charged with 1 count of simple battery. You want to represent yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand there's consequences to representing yourself. You have to know the laws, and if you say anything against your interests, it's on you. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you still want to go forward?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You're charged with 1 count of simple battery, pretrial.
He's been in custody since November 3rd. Possession of a firearm by convicted felon. Before that was May probation violation. 2022 probation violation. 2022 sale of marijuana that was dismissed. He's on probation for criminal damage to property 2nd degree out of Clayton County. And he has a hold out of Jonesboro. Yeah.
Okay. Date.
Judge, this is the in the same situation as the other defendant. There was an incident at the jail where Mr. Sanchez, along with I believe 4 or 5 other people, pushed the victim into the cell and started hitting him. We are asking for a surety bond in the amount of $3,000.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Judge. I do understand that he does have holds in other counties. However, we can't be 100% sure as to if he goes over to those holds that he won't be placed right back on probation or he won't be released off of those holds. That's why the state is still wanting a surety bond on this matter, Judge.
Do we know what the charges are for the hold in Jonesboro?
The state does not, Judge.
Said probation violation. It's he's on probation in Clayton County for the criminal damage, so it may have something to do with that.
Okay. What I was getting at was any violence or anything.
I believe he not that it was necessarily a violent charge, but I believe there was a mention of him being a convicted felon with a firearm or having a firearm.
Okay. All right, I'm going to give him a $3,000 signature bond to the from the jail to be released to Jonesboro. And no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond.
Did you say 3,000?
Yes.
Thank you.
And no further contact with the victim in this case. Okay.
Thanks. Number 8, David.
This is 23 CR 0070009C. John Davis, charging 1 count of simple battery. Pretrial.
17 cycles. He's been in custody since November 3rd as well on probation violation. 2022 probation. Hold on. This paper. Hold on, Judge.
Mm-hmm.
All right. 2022, I got battery DV, possession of a knife or firearm during the commission, aggravated assault, possession of a firearm by convicted felon or felony first offender, ag battery. All of those were convictions out of Superior Court. Now he's on probation for those. Got a trespass, simple assault conviction, 2022 as well. 2018 terroristic threats, simple battery DV, criminal damage to property, 2nd degree conviction. What else? 2018 trespass NOLO. That's all.
All right, state.
Judge, the state additionally has indication that this defendant has been violating at least back until 2008. I saw a conviction for robbery and purchase, possession, or distribution of marijuana, and then also that same year possession of cocaine. Additionally, it appears that he was arrested in 2017 in Texas for assault that causes injury to a family member, and then in Georgia an arrest for a simple battery, family violence, and his record shows numerous amounts of probation violations. The state is, of course, concerned with the defendant's ability to follow any orders of the court or any bond conditions, in that he does have a very lengthy record and he has violated his probation more than, I believe, 4 times. We would ask, I'm sorry, the facts of this is just as the Mr. Sanchez. They're at the jail on November 10th. This defendant, along with 4 or 5 others, began to push the victim into a cell, and then once in there, violently struck him with the closed fist, and some of them did kick him and caused bodily injury. So we're asking for Mr. Davis also a $3,000 surety bond.
And he doesn't have any holds.
None that the state could see, Judge.
And I do represent Mr. Davis, Your Honor, and so.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Thank you. So Mr. Davis is 37, Your Honor. He does have a valid address in the Fulton County area. He is the father of 10 children ranging from the ages of 20 to 9. He does have employment. And so just kind of like the previous co-defendant mentioned, my client tells me, Your Honor, that the alleged victim in this case is the one who started the this whole entire incident. In fact, my client says that he was just trying to break up the incident, but the alleged victim in this case was the primary aggressor. And so we do maintain our innocence throughout with this particular charge. We're asking for a signature on bond on this particular case, Your Honor. Mr. Davis does have probation issues that he has to deal with as well, but we are asking for a signature bond on this particular case today.
Where's his probation at?
It's in Fulton County.
Oh, Fulton. I'm concerned about his cycles, number of cycles. But I guess in order to get this behind him to move on to the other things, I will order a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And a stay away from the co-defendants as well as the victim in this case. I'm sorry, no further contact rather with the victim and other co-defendants in the case. All right.
Number 28, Mr. Oliver, and he's going pro se.
All right. This is 23 CR 007010C Davion Oliver, charged at 1 count of simple battery.
16 total. On probation, ag assault, possession of a firearm by convicted felon, robbery. In 2011, they gave him 8 years to serve and then 7 years probation out of Cobb. All right, let's see. Yeah. Look at his last arrest. Got a 2020 driving without a valid license. Before that, I think he had to go to prison. That's the Cobb arrest before that one, Judge. So everything else would be before that, early 2000s. That's all.
Okay, state.
Yes, Judge. I see that this defendant additionally does have a record going back as early as 2004. So he does have, although he has 16 cycles, they do span a vast amount of time. This is the same incident with the other co-defendants that happened on the 10th of November where they were at the jail, and this defendant along with 4 or 5 others pushed the victim, Mr. Mohammed Guy, into a cell and began striking him with closed fists and kicking him. The state is asking for a $3,000 surety bond.
All right, Mr. Oliver,
Yes, ma'am.
you wish to proceed pro se and represent yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'm a little concerned. And did I hear he does or doesn't have a hold?
I don't, ma'am. I'm not on parole no more, ma'am. Got off 8/1/2023.
I don't see that he has any holds, Judge.
All right, pre-trial, he's been in how long?
I don't know. Let me look it up. Since November 3rd. Everybody seemed to be November 3rd. So he in on ag assault, ag battery, possession of a firearm by convicted felon. That's a $75,000 bond.
So he won't be going anywhere anytime soon, I guess.
He bonds out.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna order a $3,000 surety bond. And with that surety bond, no drugs, alcohol, guns, or weapons while on bond, and no further contact with the victim in this case. Okay.
Thank you.
Add on position number 3, White.
This is 23 CR 007033D. Tyree White, charged with one count of battery, family violence, second count of criminal trespass and damage to property. Pretrial.
Second arrest. Last arrest was in April for DUI. He was recommended level 1.
All right, state.
Judge, I'd like to sound for the victim in this case, Miss Cherie Jackson.
All right, Miss Jackson, Sharita. Is it Sharita Jackson?
I believe it's Cherie. I'm sorry, Sheree.
Sheree. Excuse me, Sheree Jackson. Are you on the call? All right.
Judge, the state would ask for a $1,000 surety bond.
All right, $1,000 surety bond.
Yes, Judge.
And how is that divided? Is it 5? Is it 2 charges, right?
Oh, I apologize, Judge. I meant one on each.
Oh, okay. All right. PD Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client, Mr. White, is 31 years old, Your Honor. He has no objection to stay away and having no further contact with Saray Jackson. And we would like to request for a signature on bond, Your Honor. He has 2 minor children, 1 and 8 years old, that he has to support. Indeed, he pays lots of child support for them. He is actually working as a forklift operator, and he graduated from high school. He's taking some college classes, and Your Honor, he actually has been living with her, but he's willing to find new place. And he does have a video footage that he can prove that he was not a first aggressor. And he's been here in Georgia for 5 years. His auntie, uncle, cousin, all here in Georgia. He has a strong ties to the community. He's not gonna fly. He's not a flight risk as well. Thank you.
All right. I will order a $3,000 signature bond. And I will order that through the jail. That'll be 2,000 on the battery, 1,000 on the criminal trespass and damage to property. With that $3,000 signature bond through the jail, no further contact with the victim. Stay away from the incident location. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I believe that'll be it.
Can he have a one-time law enforcement officer escorted visit to retrieve his belongings?
Yes. Or one-time law enforcement escort back to the location to retrieve your personal items.
Thank you.
Okay.
Position number 10.
This is 23 CR 007014C. Tyrese Durham, charged with 1 count of criminal trespass. Pretrial.
Fifth arrest. He got history out of Connecticut. Let me start from the top on that one. 2012. What's the charge? Hold on, dude. I don't even see the charge for 2012. It just says guilty by plea. Oh, forgery in the 2nd degree. Another 2012. I got what is this? Operating motor vehicle under suspension. As far as the Georgia history, I got 2022 battery. June of this year, disorderly conduct, possession of meth, and drug-related objects. Those were not presented to a grand jury. This was level 3 recommendation. State.
Thank you. So officers responded to a vandalism call that's at 1240 Oakland Drive Southwest. Officers met with the victim, a Nasif, it's Fajri, Fajri. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. He said that the defendant threw a brick through his kitchen window. He said the defendant used to live at the location with him, but he doesn't reside there anymore. The state is looking for a signature bond through the jail. Stay away from 1240 Oakland Drive Southwest in Atlanta. No further contact with the victim, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
Your Honor, this is my case. We do not object to the signature on bond through the jail, Your Honor. We also don't object to the no further contact with Nasif Faraj. I do ask, Your Honor, that we do have a one-time police escort. As previously stated, my client was actually staying at the residence, and he does tell me that he has property still at that residence that he was trying to obtain on this particular night. And so we would ask for a one-time police escort for Mr. Durham to be able to obtain that property, but we have no other objections to what the state recommended.
Okay. So I will order a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. Going to order stay away from that incident location on Oakland Drive. No further contact with the victim. One-time law enforcement escort back to that property to retrieve his items. Remember, Mr. Durham, you must take law enforcement. Do not go back on your own. And no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. Anything else, counsel? I think that's it.
Number 18.
All right, what deputy? I'm sorry.
Number 18.
18. This is 23 CR 00699-3A. Blake Jimerson, charged at 1 count of simple battery family violence. Pretrial.
8th arrest. Last was back in June, DUI out of Clayton County. That appears to be open. And the possession of marijuana, misdemeanor. This was level 3 recommendation. 2016 theft by taking conviction. I don't think I saw any violence. Hold on. Yeah, he don't have any violence, because the only violence is a ag assault from 09 actually. It was record was expunged.
All right. Date.
Thank you, Your Honor. It stems from April 17, 2023. The victim in this case, Margaret Jones, defendant's mother, called the police, stated that her son, the defendant, had assaulted her. This address is 1674 Westwood Avenue Southwest. She stated that she was awoken by the defendant who wanted to use her phone. The defendant became very angry with her after she said no and proceeded to grab her leg and yank her out of bed onto the floor. Looks like the defendant did live at this residence with his mother. The state is looking for a $2,000 surety bond. Stay away from the location 1674 Westwood Ave Southwest. No further violent contact with the defendant's mother, Margaret Jones. 8 weeks anger management, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
All right, PD Sanflex.
Yes, Judge. He does have another address. I spoke to him. His dad has an address across the street that he can live at, that 1669 Westwood address. So we have no objections to the stairway, as long as there's no further violent contact with his mother. I think the prosecution already stated that. He was doing janitorial work before he was arrested. As the court heard, he does not have any violent history, but his janitorial work, based on the income that he has, is very limited. So we are asking for a signature bond for his case. He's 32 years old. He does have a 6-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old son. So we are asking the court to grant him a signature bond for his case.
Okay.
And
I'm
then
going,
Your Honor, finally, he has lived here his whole life, so I do want to say that he does have ties to the community.
all right. I will order a $3,000 signature bond. With that signature bond through pretrial. And I will order no further contact with his mother at this time. And no, well, let me see. Hold on. This happened in April.
Yes, Judge.
Okay, no further violent contact with his mom. But I'm going to order the stay away so that he will live with his dad. Maybe he's been doing that already. And no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I guess that is it for now.
What was the amount, Judge?
3,000.
Thank you.
Number 25, McDonald.
This is 23 CR 007022B. Julius McDonald, charge at 1 count, abandonment of dependent child. What's the purge amount?
$644, Your Honor.
All right, that's, you move on from that, $644 purge. Can't do anything with that. That's what he has to pay to get out.
It's 640.
644.
Position number 29.
This is 23 CR 007023D. Erikius Prater, charge at 1 count of battery, pretrial.
Rick. Fifth arrest. Let's see. Last arrest was 08, failed to appear. Huge recommend.
All right, state.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Who is this? I couldn't hear the name.
29, Erikius Prater.
Judge, in this particular incident occurred on November 9th. Corporal Merritt was dispatched to a verbal dispute in a vehicle, which led to a physical dispute. In this particular case, the victim was being picked up from the airport from the defendant. He picked her up, and once they got in the car, she realized that he appeared to be drunk, and she was asking him to pull over. She should drive, things like that, to try to get him to stop driving. She asked him to pull over repeatedly so that she could drive them home. And she advised she was not able to get him to pull over and for them to exchange seats. Since he would not do that, her being concerned with their safety, she yanked the keys. I'm not sure how this occurred exactly logistically, but she was able to obtain the keys. I don't know if this was before they were driving, while they were driving, but at some point she did get the keys. The defendant became upset with her. They ended up outside the ground. The defendant then put his body over the victim's body, kind of squatted over her to kind of stop her from getting up off the ground, as he proceeded to, with his closed fist, hit her in her mouth area, resulting in a busted lip. Once the officers got there, the defendant was not on the scene, but he did return to the scene walking up. At that point, that's when the officers arrested him, and he indicated that he should never have picked her up in the first place, or he should have just dropped the victim off on the side of the road as she had requested. We're asking that the defendant have no further contact with the victim, the no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, and that he post a $3,000 surety bond.
Okay.
And I also have, I'm sorry, Judge, I also have that he had an FTA way back from 2005, but then he had another FTA as recent as 2020, Judge. Thank you.
2020 FTA. Okay.
All right. PD Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 44 years old, and he does have two minor children, Your Honor, that he is supporting. However, none of them is Miss Webb. He does not live with Miss Webb, and he has no children with Miss Webb. And he is completely okay with no further contact and stay away from her residence. Your Honor, my client has a job. He's gainfully employed as a building maintenance person. He's been doing that for about a year for full time. He graduated from high school. He is licensed for HVAC. He has a family members here in Georgia because he was born and raised here. He has a strong ties to the community. We would like to request for signature on bond because I only see 2008 FTA. So other than that, there was no similar violence crime in the past. We would like to request for a signature on bond. Thank you.
And what was the relationship with the defendant and the victim?
Dating relationship, Your Honor, without any child, without living together.
And have we had any contact with the victim state?
Judge, in checking the notes, one second, Judge, I apologize. Trying to make sure I have the right. Miss Webb. Judge, we have been reaching out to her. We did notify her of the hearing today. So if we could sound for her, Miss Lakeisha Webb.
Okay, Lakeisha Webb. I don't think she's on the call. All right. I'm going to order a $4,000 signature bond. Signature bond through the jail. And with that $4,000 signature bond through the jail is no further contact with the victim. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I guess that's it. Anything else, counsel?
Nothing further from defense.
Nothing from state, Judge.
Okay.
Number 31, Roseberry.
It's 23 CR 006998E, Jonathan Roseberry, charge of one count of battery in a public transit or vehicle. Pre-trial?
Hold on real quick. Yeah, I didn't have a Roseberry on my pull sheet, so I'll defer to the state.
I have a hijacking a vehicle, armed robbery 2003, battery, family violence 2015, carrying a weapon without a valid license, transport of a firearm 2019, criminal trespass. Looks like disposition is unknown, and giving an inmate a prohibited item without authorization 2013.
All right, go ahead.
So this incident stems from, it looks like September 23rd. Officers were patrolling 5 Points MARTA station. They were approached by the victim in this case, that's a Jason Jones, who stated that while on the northbound train entering Oakland City MARTA station, he was attacked and knocked to the ground while being repeatedly punched by the defendant because he refused to give up his seat. He said that he was supposed to exit at West End MARTA station. Mr. Jones suffered a small laceration to the left side of his lip as well as left side of his cheek. When detectives were notified of this incident, they reviewed the CCTV footage. They identified the defendant by that. They followed the defendant who, sorry, I was like, they followed the defendant and it looks like they detained him. The whole incident, sorry, and the whole incident stemmed, like I said, stemmed from him saying that he wanted Mr. Jones' a seat. He refused to move. So the state is looking for a $3,000 surety bond, a stay away from all MARTA premises and property, no further contact with the victim, Jason Jones, 12 weeks anger management, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol. And it looks like, I'm sorry, I didn't admit one thing. He stood on top of Mr. Jones and put his knee to keep him on the ground before striking him in the face with a closed fist. And when he tried to get up, he punched him again, I'm sorry, with a closed fist.
All right. PD Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client, Mr. Roseberry, is actually 39 years old, and he was born and raised here in Georgia. He has a solid address, 880 Rock Street. He has one minor son, 3 years old, that he has to financially be responsible, Your Honor. He's gainfully employed at temp agency. However, his job continuously changes from construction to different jobs, cook and prepping. So because he has to take care of his 3 years old minor child, he's still qualified for public defender services, even with his job and income. He completed up to 11th grade at the high school. After that, he finished his GED. Right now, he does want to have a signature on bond. We have no objection to stay away from a 5-point MARTA and Jason Jones. I don't think that they are going to meet ever again. So those stay away and no further contact. If Your Honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond, we ask for maximum $1,000 good bond. Even that will be like a no bond for him right now. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to order a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. With that signature bond, Mr. Roseberry, you need to stay away from all MARTA. So you'll have to use Uber, Lyft, and other manners, ways to get around. You cannot get on MARTA while you're on bond. And I don't know if they have any other bans put on you through MARTA. Your attorney can tell you about that. I'm going to order no further contact with the victim. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. All right.
Thank you.
Position number 32, he's also add-on number 2, Mr. Ross.
All right, I'll take 32 first. This is 23 CR 00703LJ. Jalik Ross. Charge of 1 count of willful obstruction of law enforcement, 2 counts willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. This is from July 30th, 2023. Pretrial.
One moment. What I do with his? Hold on.
Okay.
I don't think he had anything. Let me see. Yeah, it's a first arrest. Let me get that. What's the name for that level?
Okay.
Oh, this was SOB jail. Was a recommendation. But first,
Okay. Gotcha. All right. State.
Yes, Judge. and my brain just, oh, here we go. Okay. In reference to the incident that occurred on July the 3rd, the defendant was at 30 Alabama Street in Atlanta, came into contact with two police officers, Officer Jay Holder and Officer Williams. They were trying to stop him and speak with him. However, he obstructed them from performing their legal duties by refusing to obey their verbal commands to stop and turn around and to place his hands behind his back. Instead of doing what they instructed him to do, he got up and proceeded to attempt to walk away from the officers. I also do not have any further arrests in reference to this particular charge on this particular defendant. So the state would not disagree with pretrial in reference to the $1,000 SOB through the jail. In reference to his other case, however, the state would have a different recommendation.
Okay. PD Kim?
Yes, we have no objection to signature on bond through jail.
All right. And let's see. We have this other case from 11-9 with 8 charges.
Yes, Judge.
I'm not for sure if I should hear that and make the decision on both. 30 Alabama Street is the underground. I think
it's
5 points. It's either one.
It's what?
I believe it's the 5 Points entranceway kind of area of the MARTA. I believe that's what he was saying.
Right. Got it. All right, on that one, I'll just go ahead and rule with that. Rule on that one first. I will go ahead and give a $3,000 signature bond through the jail, as was recommended. And we'll just do 1,500 on each. It's Bridgewater.
Okay, thank you.
No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And there was no victim.
No, Judge, it's just that he was walking away from the 2 officers. So yes, Judge, no victim in this particular case.
Okay. All right, let's do the other case, which is 23 CR 007031J. And we have the 8 counts of willful obstruction.
Yes.
From 11-9.
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
I would
All
like an argument, bond argument for that case.
Okay. Judge, on this, oh, I'm sorry, I don't know if pretrial had anything on this since it's the same defendant. I figured not.
No, yeah.
Judge, on this particular case, it occurred on November 9th of this year, and this incident occurred at 2243. I'm sorry, not at 2243. It occurred at the MARTA Airport train station. There had been a bolo out on MARTA looking for this defendant from the incident that had occurred in July. They spotted the defendant, and they went to approach him and advise him that he fit the description and that he was wanted and he was under arrest. The defendant stood up, said no, and tried to push past Officer Torbert. They then tried to grab his wrists. It ended up being 6 different officers trying to restrain him and put him into custody. The defendant was trying to push past the officers. They had to pry his hands from by his body so they can try to put the cuffs on him. However, he clenched his arms in the front, refused to comply. They had to give him multiple commands to release his hands. They ended up having to spray him with the spray that the officers have. They were able to gain control of his arms and put him in handcuffs. And then when they stood up to exit the train, he became combative again, and he actually ended up kicking Officer Jackson in the chest, and then he kicked Sergeant Cunningham in the upper thigh. In this particular case, the state does believe it is vastly different than the other one. He was not putting up any type of violence on the other situation. However, in this case, he kicked an officer. Well, he kicked two officers, one in the chest, one in the upper thigh. It took numerous officers to try to subdue him, and he had to be sprayed. In this particular case, we would ask for a $3,000 surety bond.
Okay. And again, this is his first arrest. I don't know what's going on with Marta for some reason. But what say you? Anything different, PD Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Actually, the Mata Airport is where he works. He cleans cars at the airport, Your Honor, and he also has he works at Amazon as well. He has two jobs, working very, very hard, while he's also trying to get HVAC maintenance license. He is only 24 years young, and Your Honor, he does not have minor children. He's gainfully employed, and he graduated from high school. He was born in Illinois. He's been here in Georgia for the last 6 years. He resides with his auntie, and he has a ties to the community. He's not going to run away. We would like to request for signature on bond. This is his first arrest ever, Your Honor.
Okay. He's putting up a big fight out there with the Marta police. I'm sure they're going to ban him. So I hope you've got other means to get around transportation wise, Mr. Ross. I'm going to give you all those 8 counts with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 counts of willful obstruction. No, 6 counts of willful obstruction, and then the 2 counts of simple battery. Concerns me. I'm not sure. And I'd like to see you get a hold of your emotions here and what's going on. I'm going to give him a $6,000 signature bond. A $6,000 signature bond through pretrial. I'm going to order him to take the 1-day anger awareness course through pretrial. And with that $6,000 signature bond, that'll be 1, 2, let's see. Gotta do the math for me. On the 2 simple batteries, 1,000 on those, so that's 2. And then what is that, 500 on each of the obstructions? Does that add up?
On the 5,000.
Huh?
And it's only 5,000.
Yeah,
Okay, just make it 5,000.
Okay.
5,000 SOB pre-trial. And the 1-day anger awareness, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I know we celebrated Halloween, but I just received another ad on calendar.
Oh, that's the lady that's missing. That's all it is.
But nonetheless, it's another add-on.
No more holidays.
Please.
No more holidays.
So I will send that add-on to you.
Yeah.
And I think Ms. McLeod needs it as well. Does anybody else need me to send it to them? Okay. All righty.
One day we will get done.
Yes.
Somebody's buying everyone dinner. I don't know who it is. We'll charge it to the state. All right, who do we have next, Deputy?
Add on position number 1, Cindy Fair.
Okay.
A case number is 23CR007034C.
All right, thank you for that.
Second arrest, 2016, driving while intoxicated, out of New York. Level 1, she's recommended.
Good, okay. We'll keep moving. State.
Yep, there we go. Yes, Judge, this is actually the co-defendant or dual arrest with Kimberly Mesri that we handled earlier. She was charged with I believe it was simple battery or battery family violence. However, this defendant is a slightly different situation because she's actually charged with threatening violence to Miss Kimberly Mesri, her wife, with a knife. She had been threatening to attack her with a knife. The officer, when he arrived on the scene, this occurred on 11/10/23 at 369 Centennial Olympic Park. And it was a call out in reference to a fight. Once the officer got there, it resulted in this defendant having a fingernail being damaged and bleeding from her finger and a bump on her lip. The officer's notes indicate that the defendant was under the influence of alcohol at the time, and that this defendant did show a video of her and Miss Kimberly Mesri arguing on the phone. The officer did see a knife on top of the dresser when he walked into the apartment. So he didn't, although he did not see the knife in this defendant's hand, there was a statement given to him by the victim that she did have a knife and there was a knife close in proximity when he arrived. We're asking for a $2,000 surety bond in reference to this case.
All right.
Your Honor,
Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 39 years old. She denies that there was any knife involved between them, Your Honor. And I would note that the warrant doesn't speak to anyone being injured with a knife. I believe the most serious injury alleged was a broken fingernail. My client has been married to the cross defendant for some time, and she tells me that they have already resolved their differences. They were arrested together, they were in jail together, and she would like no further violent contact between them. And I believe that was the order made for the court in Miss Kimberly's case. So I would ask the court to give my client a signature bond so she can get back home, get back to work, and that the only condition on our bond to be no further violent conduct with her wife. Nothing further on.
All right. I will give that same $3,000 signature bond through the jail.
Thank you, Your Honor.
No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns. And I think I ordered before the no further violent contact.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, I'll do the same.
Thank you.
Okay.
Position 1, position 2, position number 30, oh, waiving appearance.
1, 2, and 30.
And positions 1 and 2, I actually wanted to do a breakout session for those individuals.
Right. And then 30.
My client, I waived for Mr. Robinson, Your Honor.
You did. Oh, that's Mr. Cloud. Okay.
Yes, William Robinson.
All right. Who else do we have left in the courtroom? Are we done in the courtroom? Courtroom 2.
Position 35, my client, Mr. Sullivan, should be there, and I requested a breakout room.
So that's the only one we have left. This is Mr. Sullivan.
What happened to Mr. Montgomery?
Correct.
We did Beer Montgomery, didn't we?
She didn't say Beer Montgomery. Or
No.
That's the name.
Yeah, Bear Montgomery is his name, yes.
Already did him.
we did him.
Yeah.
You represented him, Miss McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, did he go pro se?
No, he was one of, I believe it was a Riverside issue, if I'm not mistaken. We did that in the
Yes.
Oh, he was the Riverside, which
Yeah.
is why we did the SOB.
Okay,
Okay, sorry about that.
that's okay.
I know somebody requested breakout room for positions 1 and 2. That's me. So
Okay.
What
Well,
about
we
this
can,
guy, Mr. Robinson?
yeah, we can go in the breakout for Mr. Robinson, and then that will clear out the court. Then we won't have anyone left. Do we have anyone? It doesn't look like just staff on the,
It was Will's iPhone.
oh, who is that? Will's iPhone? Will's iPhone. Can you tell who that is, Miss Champion?
No, ma'am, I can't.
Will's iPhone. If not, we're gonna bump him out, but
Hello, can you hear me?
now we can. Who are
Hi,
you, sir?
sorry about that. I am the brother of Michael Sullivan.
Oh, okay. You're Michael Sullivan's brother. Okay.
I am, yes.
Okay. We're gonna go into breakout for Mr. Sullivan. And then we'll come back. Do you wish to address the court?
No, I just wanted to attend the proceedings. I'm not sure what input I could add. I just want to be helpful in whichever way I could.
Okay. Well, let me hear. I don't know anything about the case at the moment. And I think there's usually a reason that we're going into breakout, that we don't want it to be an open court, to not be prejudicial to the defendant. So let me hear that. Hold on a second and we'll come back and I'll let you know what my ruling is.
Judge, you gonna do all the breakouts?
Might as well while we're in there. I think I have 3, right?
I don't know.
Yeah,
We've
positions
stopped
1 and
counting.
2, so.
Yeah, we've stopped counting. Well, I was gonna do his real quick and then let him go, but if you hang on, Mr. Or Will, can you hang on for a second? Because I've
Certainly,
got
no
2
problem.
others to do. Okay. All right, we'll do them all. Put us all in the breakout, Miss Champion.
I need to be in a breakout room also.
All right. Will? Will's iPhone? Hello? Will's iPhone?
Yes, sorry. Trying to
Okay.
figure this out.
All right. And this is Mr. Robinson, correct?
Michael Sullivan.
I mean Sullivan, I'm sorry. All right, Mr. Sullivan, we have talked about your case in the breakout, and I'm going to order a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. But we're going to make that pending a BHET evaluation before you're released, because we want to make sure you have the proper services that you're going to need to be successful upon your release, okay? And I'm going to hear a little something from your brother, unless he has anything to add. We understand we may have some concerns, and that's why we're going to have him evaluated by behavioral health first, Mr. Will. Will, is your name Mr. Sullivan as well?
It is, yes.
Okay, Mr. Sullivan. I'm going to call you Mr. Will. Will.
No problem.
And so unless you have anything that you just have to or want to tell us, I'd rather you speak to PD Kim about it, his attorney, than putting it on the record, because we may not really need to do that at this point.
All right, that's
And
fine with me.
so she will give you her number. She can give it to you now because there's no one else on here that will call her, that shouldn't call her.
He already knows my number, Your Honor. We
Uh-huh.
already spoke over the phone.
Oh, you already spoke.
That's right.
Okay, I
Yes.
was thinking
Yes, we
you had
did.
not. Okay. Well,
And-
she informed us, she represented your brother, let us know that we may have some issues here with MH, as we call it, but we want to get him looked at and talked to first before ordering anything more serious at this point. And so he will get that signature bond, and I hope you all can coordinate so that he can be somewhere where he will, have assistance.
Right. I appreciate
So that
that.
we don't end up right back here again.
Right.
Okay. So Mr. Sullivan, you're going to work with them so they can get you some help. Okay. All right.
Said thank you, Judge.
Okay, good. All right. And thank you for being so patient with us. This was a long calendar.
Yeah, no problem.
Mr. Sullivan. And again, we're going as fast as we could.
And Mr. Sullivan, the state does have your phone number to give you a call in reference to your brother. So someone will probably give you a call in the next few days or soon thereafter, okay?
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right. What else, Miss Holly?
Go over this calendar.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
You're
Bye-bye.
welcome. Thank you.
Judge,
Huh?
what happened to the people in the breakout?
That's what she getting ready to tell you. You just want to know the breakout first?
Yeah, I
Hold on, you know I'm not gonna take all day with it. Come on, let's go ahead and do this right quick. Okay, once again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is November 21st. On the original calendar, position number 1 is being reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through the jail. Position 2, reset further notice with a total $2,000 SOB through the jail. Position 3, reset further notice with a total $4,000 SOB through the jail. Position 4, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through the jail. 5, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through the jail. 6, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through the jail. 7, reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through the jail. 8, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through the jail. 9, reset further notice with a $2,500 SOB through the jail. 10, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. 11, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through the jail. 12, reset further notice with a $4,000 SOB through the jail. 13, reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through the jail. 14 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $1,000 good bond. 15, reset further notice with a total $4,000 SOB through pretrial. 16, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through the jail. 17, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. 18, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 19, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. 20, reset further notice with a total $8,000 SOB through pretrial. 21, reset further notice with a $4,000 SOB through the jail. 22, reset further notice with a total $4,000 SOB through pretrial. 23 is being reset. It's a medical reset till Monday. 24 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $10,000 good bond. 25 is a $644 purge. 26 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through the jail. 27 is reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through the jail. 28 is going to the SAP calendar with a $3,000 good bond. 29 is reset further notice with a $4,000 SOB through the jail. 30, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through the jail. 31, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through the jail. 32, reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through the jail. 33, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through the jail. 34 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through the jail. 35, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. 36, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through the jail. 37, reset further notice with a total $6,000 SOB through pretrial. Now, on one add-on, this is going to be with Sandy Mazier. Her case is being reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through the jail. On the other add-on, starting with LaRon Littman, position number 1, he's being reset further notice with a $4,000 SOB through the jail. Add-on number 2 on that calendar is being reset further notice with a total $5,000 SOB through pretrial. And position number 3 on that calendar is being reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through the jail. Are there any questions, comments, or otherwise?
Mr. Mann, position number, I'm sorry, Judge.
Go ahead.
Mr. Mann, position number 22. It sounded like you said 4,000 SOB pretrial. I want to make
22,
sure.
I have it as a $4,000 total SOB through the jail.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any others?
Nah, I'm out.
Okay.
Who's escorting Miss Holly?
She on home tonight.
But you know what? If something happens to me, he wouldn't be able to live with himself.
We're gonna if something happens, we're gonna blame Donna.
Judge, I'm gonna get this information to you as fast as I can because it's already pitch black dark out here.
And
so
I want you to
be on standby for me.
Call me when you're walking.
Okay, I will.
All right,
okay,
bye.
take care, everybody.
Everybody take care.
Okay, bye-bye.